The first time I saw the Australian outback from the air, I thought I was looking at another planet. A rusty red ocean of land stretched as far as my eyes could see, cracked like old leather under the sun. Rivers weren't blue, they were silver scars. Then, hours later, I was standing barefoot on a white sand beach, watching the Indian Ocean explode into turquoise light. I realized something in that moment: Australia is not one place, it's 1,000 worlds stitched together, and today, I'm going to take you into those worlds, to show you Australia like you've never seen it before. Australia has always carried a certain mystery. To some, it's beaches and kangaroos. To others, it's deserts and the Sydney Opera House. But the real Australia is bigger, quieter, and more emotional than postcards ever capture. This continent isn't just a backdrop for adventure, it's a living story. From ancient Aboriginal lands to underwater kingdoms like the Great Barrier Reef, every corner holds a history that whispers if you pause to listen. That I started this journey with a single question: what does it feel like to truly see Australia, not as a tourist, but as a witness? I landed in Alice Springs, in the center of Australia, just before dawn. The desert air was cold, biting against my cheeks. A guide named Mick, who had lived in the outback all his life, handed me a thermos of tea and pointed to the horizon. "Wait for it," he said. As the first light cracked over Uluru, the sacred sandstone monolith turned from gray to pink, then from pink to a fiery orange. The rock seemed alive, pulsing with warmth. Mick whispered, "The land remembers everything." Walking around Uluru, I felt the weight of time. This was not just a rock. It was a story written over 500 million years, and still sacred to the Ananga people. When the desert wind hit my face, I understood why the outback feels endless. That it's a place where you can hear your own heart. That a few days later, I traded the red dust for saltwater in Queensland. My first dive into the Great Barrier Reef was like falling into another dimension. Corals bloomed in colors my eyes didn't know how to name. Fish the size of my hand darted past like living jewels, and then, a shadow. A manta ray, wings spread wide, glided beneath me, completely unbothered by my presence. For a few seconds, I floated in absolute stillness. I thought about how fragile this beauty is. Climate change, rising water temperatures, coral bleaching, it all threatens this living masterpiece. That night, I wrote in my travel journal, "The ocean doesn't need us to survive. But we need it. And maybe, just maybe, we need to love it enough to protect it." Rainforest, a place older than the Amazon. I remember stepping off the boardwalk and instantly feeling the air change, heavy, wet, alive with the smell of soil and leaves. A guide named Ellie stopped and said, "See that tree? That species has been here since dinosaurs walked this land." I looked around. Vines curled like serpents, birds called in strange, echoing songs, and a river shimmered through the trees. I half expected a prehistoric creature to step out of the ferns. That it was here I realized, Australia's magic is not just in what you see, but in how it makes you feel small, in the best possible way. After weeks of wilderness, stepping into Sydney felt like another country entirely. The Opera House glowed at sunset, and ferries sliced across the harbour like playful dolphins. But even in the city, Australia's rhythm is slower, softer. In Melbourne, I wandered its narrow laneways, listening to street musicians and smelling coffee roasted fresh that morning. Locals invited me to try Vegemite on toast. I laughed and coughed, and they laughed with me. These cities aren't just urban, they carry the openness of the land they rise from. You can feel it in the way strangers greet you, or how the ocean is never too far away. It happened on my last night in Western Australia, on a beach with no name. The sun had long set, and the sky exploded with stars. No city lights, no noise, just the hush of waves and the Milky Way stretching like a silver river. I lay back in the sand and felt the entire country breathing. From the outback to the reef, from the rainforests to the cities, Australia wasn't just a place I had seen. It was a place I had felt, and in that stillness, I realized something: some journeys don't just show you a country. They show you yourself. Flying home, I flipped through my camera and realized the best moments weren't the photos, they were the silences, the smells, the laughs shared with strangers. I thought about something Mick, the Outback guide, had told me: people come here looking for Australia. But if they slow down, they find themselves instead. That's the real Australia, the one you feel in your bones. That if this journey moved you, consider exploring the world with slower eyes. Let the land speak. Let the silence teach you.